Good afternoon and welcome to Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware for today's MEAC Digital Network broadcast on ESPN3, featuring the Hornets of Delaware State University hosting the Spartans of Norfolk State University. Hello everyone, I'm Gary Lang and I'm joined by Mike Walker. We'll be back with the start of today's game in just a moment.
U.edu or call 302-857-6055.
Gary Lang with Mike Walker from Delaware State University in Dover, Delaware, and we're getting ready for this one to get underway. The Hornets there in red with the white numerals, Norfolk State in the white jerseys with the green pants and the green helmets. It's a bit of a chilly day here with the wind chill, with that 17-mile-per-hour wind out of the northeast. Makes it feel like it's under 40 degrees if you're sitting outside and you're happy inside.
You know, when you're out there in the field gathering, intensely wrapped up into the game, the temperature becomes a non-factor. It does kick in as the game goes on. You stay more and more on the sideline. Initially, all these guys involved, it's going to be great football. They both can't wait to get in here and slug it out.
Norfolk State has won 3 out of their last 4 against Howard, a win. Lost to Cook, came back to beat Morgan State in the homecoming game down in Norfolk. And then last week over North Carolina Central. Delaware State coming off of last week's upset win over top of here at Alumni Stadium. So we'll see what the Hornets are able to put together here today at home. Next season for the Hornets.
Alumni Stadium, get on your feet. You know what time it is. It's game time.
Kick off for Delaware State.
Stays, the ball goes. And we are ready for this one to get underway, and it is officially underway. And a good deep kick, carried by the wind, about 7 yards deep into the end zone. That's how the wind will affect this game. And we had away from where the ball was, a little set to between a couple of players, and a late flag goes down.
Touchback. After the play, sportsmanlike conduct, kicking team number 34. 15 yards, automatic, first down.
Andre Singleton, the referee for the game, tells us that Mari Jackson is going to be flagged for sportsmanlike conduct on the kickoff return, moving the ball out to the 40-yard line, and that's where Norfolk State will take it over to start the game here with the ball on the far side hash mark.
Jackson, one of the guys who went out with the coin toss, I guess he's just a little excited about getting there out on the field.
Ron Carter, quarterback. Goulet in the backfield with Carter. Yards on the play. Great penetration by that defense.
Christian Johnson with the one-hand grab just literally snatches him down to the turf. Good penetration by that three-man front by Delaware State University.
It'll be second down and 13 for the Spartans as Carter brings his team to the line of scrimmage. Defense probably looking to pass here. They're going to keep it on the ground. They'll run. On the right side, he picks up a few yards, gets across the 45-yard line to the 46. That's a pretty nice pickup of 9 yards. Brings up a third down and 4 for Norfolk State.
You were doing a good job of just catching that edge, Gary, and picking up what the defense would get him. Del State was in hot pursuit, but no one could kind of close that angle and force him to the sideline. So he picked up a pretty good chunk of yards, putting him in a third and short situation.
Ron Carter with 21 touchdowns on the season as the ball sets on the near side hash mark. Third down and short yardage here with 4. Split out 2 wide on the right side, 1 on the left. The pass goes to him, catches it, but he's going to be short of the first down as the completion goes to Justin Smith.
Kamari Jackson with the big hit. I mean, I guess he tried to make amends for that early personal foul situation by unloading on the receiver, making him come up short.
The ball at the 49-yard line, 4th and 1, and the Spartans keep the offense on the field. They're going to go for it at midfield. Early risk-taking here by Norfolk State's head coach Latrell Scott. They'll run it, and they'll be stopped short, and the Hornets will have fantastic field position for their first possession.
It was a gamble that didn't pay off for Norfolk. Delaware State University just getting great penetration defensively, and it looked like that play was doomed from the beginning.
Gerald Hewlett unable to pick up the first down, and a break in the action. 13-11 left in the first quarter. There's no score. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3. Hornets will start off with the ball 1st and 10 from the Norfolk State 48-yard line after a big defensive stand. And they'll hand it off on first down, and it's Thomas Bertrand Hooten through the middle, down to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown Hornets.
Gary, other than Tyleek Bethea, I don't think anybody touched him on that play.
Nobody. They opened up a huge hole in the middle. He took advantage of it and then turned it on. Got past the linebackers, and nobody was catching up with Thomas Bertrand Hooten.
You talked about his second-level speed. If he could get beyond those linebackers, that he might actually shock some people with how quick he is for a 230-pound package. But he proved it on that play right there.
And the extra point attempt will be by Jose Romo Martinez. Left-footed kicker puts it up and through the uprights. And the Hornets take one play to go 48 yards and get on the scoreboard here this afternoon against Norfolk State. We talked in the pregame program, had a chance to talk with Coach Rod Milstead, and he said their whole game plan is don't play from behind. Get out early and hold on. Well, they certainly did on that play. Great defensive stand, gave the ball to the Hornets in good field position at the 48-yard line of Norfolk State, and they turned it into points.
It just looks like every play, Gary, we see the confidence of the offense growing and growing and growing. And when you pull off plays like that, it makes everybody want to get involved.
So if you have your first 10 plays kind of lined up, and that's what you're going to do, the Hornets still have 9 left to go here on their next possession.
And I'm sure everybody who's involved in that play wants to do exactly what Thomas Bertrand Hooten just did and rip off a big touchdown.
48 yards. It took 5 seconds off the clock. That's all. And the kickoff by Delaware State. This time hangs up a little bit, drives the return man back to the 5-yard line. He brings it up, cuts across to the far side of the field, and he'll be met there and knocked down. It looked like Quentin Green on the return, and now late penalty markers flying in. I'm talking really late.
Trey Gross, who we talk about on the offense as a wide receiver, also plays special teams, and he was in on the tackle.
Those penalty markers are so late. You show up for dinner that late, and all you're going to have is dessert.
Yeah, and that usually means extracurricular activity, so expect a personal foul on somebody.
Had it on the first kickoff, and it affected Delaware State, but the defense handled that. Let's see what this call is all about as we wait for the confirmation from
After cross to the 5, blindside block, return to number 57. After distance, Norfolk maintains possession. First down.
Norfolk State would have had good field position at their own 26, 27-yard line. Instead, they'll go half the distance to the end zone, and it will make the line of scrimmage the 13-yard line.
It's first and 10. Ball of the Spartans.
First and 10 Spartans as they drive themselves back on that penalty on the kickoff. So each team with a kickoff penalty, they'll start running on first down here. And coming around trying to make the cutback inside, slipping, was Demetrius Harp. Kevin Johnson, rather. Looked like he tried to plant that outside foot cut inside the tackler and just kind of slipped down, and they got him right there.
Just good team defense by Del State, forcing him, Gary, to look for that second and third option as far as run lanes are concerned, and that's what allowed the other Hornets to kind of swarm in and just bring them down.
Kind of 3 or 4 yards on the play, call it second down and 7, and they'll go to the air here. Hornets over there to defend. The defender fell down out of bounds. Ball just off the mark, and it's going to be tough throwing into this wind here this afternoon. Jawan Carter tried to get it out there on that sideline pass. Third down and 7.
Looked like DeKendall James was the intended wide receiver, but again, he drew triple coverage by the Hornets on that play.
Big play here for Delaware State on defense. They can come out of here with good field position if they can force a 3-and-out here on Norfolk State. Quarterback Jawan Carter drops back, has time, fires. He has a completion out at the 27-yard line, and it's going to be a Norfolk State first down. That defense pushed the receiver back, but they're going to mark the line of scrimmage right at the 27.
Tylon McKinney in on the reception. Delaware State University tackle. Zone type of defense. That was his assignment.
Didn't have to get any air under that ball, so the wind didn't affect it. On a running play there, we have Hewlett trying the left side of that line for Norfolk State. Just got back to the line of scrimmage, second down and 10. Saw a little bit of extracurricular activity on that play, too, but I think the officials all had their backs to it. Nothing was called. This game could get a little bit testy fairly quickly here. We've seen it already. Here's Carter throwing incomplete, trying to get to the wide receiver, Tylen McElhenney, and just threw it a little bit behind McElhenney. That's a tough throw on that cutback in.
Yeah, Gary, it's not like a very deep pass, but in terms of the distance from the quarterback to the wide receiver, the ball has to travel quite a distance. And with the wind blowing into their faces right now, it's going to pretty much make every pass a little bit to the left or the right.
And that very well could have been affected by the wind. Here's third and 10. Carter throwing again to the far sideline. Broken up. No, there's a penalty marker. And I think they may be calling pass interference on Delaware State, trying to get it to McElhenney on the left side. And it's going to be pass interference on the Hornets.
Looked like DeAndre Blue Eli from Delaware State
Defense,
on the coverage.
Number 22. First down at the spot of the 5.
You got it, Mike Walker. DeAndre Blue Eli, who's done some pretty good coverage for the Hornets here during the season.
Yeah, coach is going to bring him to the sideline and, just ask him what happened and let them know that they're being, very aggressive in their penalty calling for that type of activity.
First and 10 from the 35-yard line, trying to run left side and good yardage on the play. Raekwon Smith Takes it around the side up to the 40-yard line.
Smith on the carry.
And this could be another Norfolk State first down. We'll wait to see if they move the sticks and where they put the ball down, and they will go ahead and move them.
Misdirection run play to try to make it look like they're going to run to the right side of the offense, and then they just wind it back real quick. And again, did a good job of catching that edge and picking up enough yards for the touchdown. First down.
Carter was the starter for 10 games last season for Norfolk State. He's been in there for all the games this year. They run it on first down to Hewlett. Hewlett gets stacked up and checked out. It was not Hewlett on that. It was Raekwon Smith. Gets stacked up, hits the line of scrimmage, gets a couple of yards out to the 47-yard line. Second down and 8.
Brooks Parker for Delaware State University in on that tackle. Again, the Hornets doing a good job of just penetrating and allowing those linebackers to come in and just clean up those running backs.
From the gun, Carter hands it off, and they catch him in the backfield. It's Raekwon Smith again, and he'll lose a yard on that play as the Hornets caught him 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He managed to get one of those yards back, but it's now 3rd and 9.
Again, Brooks Parker in on the tackle. First guy in on the contact. Outside linebacker. He kind of played the edge very tight, timed it up perfectly, was looking for some pulling guards, but he got there before the guards could get to him, and he managed to make that tackle for a loss.
Defense trying to be the key here for the Hornets. 3rd down and 9, right out near the midfield stripe. Carter has to roll to his right side. Looking downfield, he'll run with the ball and get knocked out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage. Or may have even lost a yard on the play. Regardless, it's going to be a loss back to the 45, and it'll be 4th and 10 for the Spartans.
I'm not going to get tired of calling his name, but again, Brooks Parker was the one who makes the contact and forces him out of bounds. So that pretty much was his series for the game.
Norfolk State sends in their punter, Ryan Richter. Stands at the 31-yard line to take the snap into the wind. And we'll see how the wind affects it. Kind of hung it up there and just dropped it down. Takes a Delaware State bounce as well. So it'll be Hornets ball at their own 27-yard line when we return. But we have a break in the action, and we'll take this time out as well. You're watching the MEAC Digital. The Delaware State leads 7-0. You're watching. Delaware State will have their second possession of the game as we return to action here at Alumni Stadium. Gary Lang and Mike Walker. Hornets' first possession, one play, 48 yards for a touchdown. And now they want to go to the air as Tyleek Bethea completes the pass right at the Hornets' 40-yard line, and it'll be a first down as they get it to the top receiver on the team right now, Bizette Woodley, the freshman.
Their chemistry just gets stronger and stronger every game, and that was just a good pass by Tyleek Bethea. Had a little bit of time in the pocket. I'm not even sure Bizette Woodley was his first option, but he came back to him and hit him on kind of a short post pattern, enough yards to pick up the first down.
Hornets will split out 3 receivers on the right side, but they'll go to the middle, and they'll give it to Thomas Bertrand Hooden, who will pick up 2 yards on the play out to the 42. Second down and 8. Taj Washington checks out of the huddle for Delaware State as they send in another wide receiver, Kawana Colley.
It's 2nd and 8. Ball on the 42-yard line.
Right now, Delaware State University has 3, maybe 4 legitimate pass options on the field right now.
3 on the left side, 1 on the right as they split it out. It's Hudon in the backfield who gets the call, and he crashes through the middle and works his way up right about to the 49-yard line.
He's very comfortable running behind the offensive line, and you know what? He's making them feel better because, they're seeing the results of their blocking efforts. It's only going to want to make them run the ball more and more and more as a unit.
Now the wide receiver Colley checks out. The tight end Miles Beverly comes into the game. On 3rd down and 2, they mark the line of scrimmage at the 48-yard line. Hornets again send 3 wide receivers out, split on the left side, but they'll go on the ground, and it's a fake and a handoff by Tyleek Bethea. He'll take it down the sideline and finally be driven out of bounds at the Norfolk State 32-yard line, executed beautifully.
Everybody thought Bertrand Houdon had the ball, but again, we talk about Tyleek Bethea's ability to run the ball when he does run it, and he showed you right there that he's got some wheels. If given an opportunity to find one of those seams, he's one of those guys who could take it all the way to the house.
And, of course, the defense stacking up the middle there, everything within the tackles. All he had to do was go to the outside. He had the first down, and then he picked up the additional yardage. Bethea to the air. He completes it, and it's going to be a short completion. Finally up to the 26-yard line. Kwanakali gets his first catch of the day. And a 6-yard gain.
It looked like Bissett Woodley on that play because Collie just came in.
That's right, yeah. Collie just came in, so that would have been Woodley.
Again, looks like he's becoming Tyleek Bethea's favorite target.
You love a target that gets open.
And that big, too, 6'6". I mean, how do you miss him?
You can, but if you've got him and he's open, he'll hold on. They'll run the ball on second down, and it's Thomas Bertrand Houdon on the carry up to the 23, 3rd and 1.
I like that run. You know what? He didn't pick up the first down, but I like the way he finished the run off. He lowered his shoulders, and he just ran as hard as he could going forward. I love this kid's north and south game. I mean, that's what makes him special, and that's what allows him to rush for 2 consecutive 100-yard games.
Getting a lot from this Quebec native as they run on 3rd down, and I'm not sure they got it. It's going to be close. They're marking the line of scrimmage. Of course, now somebody has bumped the football, so they will reset it. And it looks like it's going to be just short of the first down, maybe about a half a yard short. Here on 4th down, the Hornets will go for it inside the Norfolk State 25-yard line.
Looked like Richard Harris might have been in on that last carry because Bertrand Houdon just brought the play in. Those 36 and 35s, it's easy to get confused.
And we'll see who it is picking up the first down here. It is Houdon on that carry as he gets down inside the Norfolk State 20-yard line. First down, Hornets. And we'll see where they mark that line of scrimmage at the 18-yard line. And again, that offensive line just pushed people out of the way.
Right, and Houdon, he just does the rest. You give him a couple of inches, again, he's just going to slug it in there and pick up as many yards as he can.
6 foot, 220-pound redshirt freshman. And the Hornets love what they're going to see out of him for a couple of years here. He gets it again and has to fight his way past the tackler down to the 16-yard line. Picked up a couple on that play. Hornets showing now for about the 4th or 5th time, 3 wide receivers split out on the left side, and they've run the ball up the middle. One of these times they're going to go to the air, and that defense is working within the tackles.
They got a lot of options. I'd like to see Tyleek Bethea get a little bit more stingy with that ball and look to run it himself because, again, he's got wheels. He has the ability to run. He's just one of these guys who appears to be pass first, run second.
3 receivers split out on the left side again for the Hornets. This time on the left side, it's Corin Aline. Kwanakali and Trey Gross out there. They'll stay on the ground and get a couple of yards up to the 13, 14-yard line. We'll wait to see. They're going to put it at the 14-yard line. That'll make it 3rd down and 6 for Delaware State. Gets a little tougher in the red zone.
Yeah, you know, the defense doesn't have to worry about getting beat deep, so they're going to, tighten down in that box and be a little bit more aggressive coming forward, knowing that they don't have to worry about chasing somebody 60 yards down the field.
You can hear the wind here today, so Bethea has that at his back right now. This time they put 2 receivers on each side of the line of scrimmage. Houdon in the backfield with Bethea. Drops back, looks left side, throwing corner of the end zone. Too high for Trey Gross as he had single coverage down there, and it brings up now 4th down for Delaware State, and the field goal unit will go out there to try to make it a 10-0 game.
It's a very important kick for Delaware State University. Any points they can put on the board with the wind behind their back is like money in the bank. It's going to show up later in the game.
Jose Romo Martinez is 10 of 12 on field goal attempts on the season. Doesn't have to worry about the distance here, but how does the wind affect it? Not at all, as it's good.
The kick is good!
We have 2:36 remaining in the first period, and Delaware State now goes up by a score of 10-0. Two good drives by the Hornets. Well, the first drive was one play, but the second drive, a nice sustained drive, kept control of the football. And there's a timeout on the field here. We'll grab it as well. Hornets up 10-0. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3, and you're listening to HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports. Play drive went 59 yards for Delaware State, ended up with a 31-yard field goal by Jose Romo Martinez, and Delaware State now with a 10-0 lead. Jake Burdell to kick off for the third time with the wind at his back. First one went about 7 yards deep in the end zone. The second one got a little bit higher, ended up at the 5-yard line. This one high, won't go quite as far. The ball dropped back there at the 8-yard line. It's picked up and it's brought back out by Norfolk State. And on the return, it was Tremaine Talbert for the Spartans. He stopped at his 23-yard line, and this Hornet defense will try to dig in right there.
And that was a good hit by Madhu Absalam. He did a good job, defensive back, coming up and just laying some wood in that open field tackle. It's very tough to tackle people in space, and he did a good job of stopping the return guy.
They've set the line of scrimmage right at the Spartans' 22-yard line. Jawan Carter trying to get some things going here in this football game. So far, 2 of 4 passing. He'll throw it, and it is incomplete. Makes him 2 of 5 as he tries to get it to the running back out of the backfield, Aaron Savage. Carter, 13 yards on those previous 2 completions.
Could be a rough day for the Spartan offense, considering that Delaware State defense has done a good job of containing the run game against Norfolk. So if they're going to force them to pass the game, pass the ball, especially into the wind, could be a tough road to hoe for Norfolk.
Second down and 10 for the Spartans. Dwayne Carter fakes the handoff. He'll run it to the right side, take it himself. Takes a good hit as he gets out to the 28-yard line.
Took a couple of big hits on that play, and again, that's not something that they want to see him do, but he did what he needed to do.
They'll mark him up to the 30-yard line. That's a good carry of 8 yards to make it 3rd down and 2.
It's 3rd and 2 at the 30.
Wind picks up a little bit here at Alumni Stadium. Ball on the near side hash mark there for Norfolk State. Takes the snap, hands it off, 1st down, and more. Getting out to the 40-yard line, it's Aaron Savage on the carry. They'll get him out to the 42-yard line. Probably one of the best plays offensively of the game so far for Norfolk State.
They took it straight up the middle. They went literally at the heart of the defense, at that defensive nose guard position played by Corey St. John. It's one of those situations when you're a nose guard, a lot of times, Gary, you're going to guess left or right. He guessed right on that play, and the ball hit on the left side of the center, and that accounted for that big pickup.
They go to the ground again, trying to pick up yardage, and there's a big hit right at the 45-yard line by Jihad Niebauer. They continue to surge forward. They're going to stop the play at the 46-yard line.
Going to give him about 4 yards on that carry.
Yeah. Aaron Savage carried the ball for Norfolk State there. They have used 5 different backs carrying the ball, including quarterback Jawan Carter.
6 at the 46.
It's a good job by that front 7 for Delaware State University. They're controlling the box right now.
Hewlett back in the backfield for the Spartans. Blitz coming, they pick it up. Hewlett goes left side and is hit for a loss of a yard at the 45-yard line.
They brought some fire and drive on that play, and Anquan Kinsey, the linebacker, Gary, again, doing a good job on that drive off the corner, coming up, making a huge hit for literally no gain on that play.
Yeah, they gave him a very liberal spot there. He was hit at the 45. They marked his forward progress to the 46, the line of scrimmage. So it'll be now 3rd down and 6. And I believe that brings us to the end of the first period here in Dover, Delaware. First quarter has expired here at Alumni Stadium on the campus of Delaware State University. Hornets lead 10-0. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3 and listening to HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports. Gary Lang, Mike Walker in Dover, Delaware, getting ready for the second quarter of this game. Hornets lead it 10-0 over Norfolk State. It's Spartans ball, 3rd down and 6 from their own 46-yard line. Jawan Carter drops back, looking right side, throws, got a completion in space, and extra yardage down to around the 35-yard line of Delaware State. That will be a Spartan first down.
He's got the wind to his back, Gary. They flipped the field, and now that wind is blowing in his favor. And again, this is a guy who's a great thrower. If you're Delaware State, you got to be conscious of the fact that this man's a true double threat, but he can really throw the ball.
He did right there and picked up the first down for his team on 1st and 10. They'll try to run the ball. They give it to Gerald Hewlett, and he got hammered.
That's the second time that Kamari Jackson has lit somebody on fire here in this game early. He did it in the first quarter on a big hit that prevented Norfolk from picking up a first down, and then he just puts the finishing touches on a running back. It looked like that was Hewlett.
Yeah,
it looked like Hewlett was getting ready to break a tackle. It looked like he almost got separated his body from his soul.
He went to the sideline to find where each one might be right now. It's 2nd down. They got about the length of the football on the play. Fake handoff. Carter goes deep, and it is incomplete. That would have been a tremendous completion with 4 Delaware State players down there on coverage as they tried to get it to the wide receiver, DeKendall James.
James had a personal Delaware State police escort into the end zone because it looked like there's no way in the world he was going to be anywhere involved with that ball by himself.
About the only people who weren't around there were the campus police.
It's 3rd and 10.
And they were pretty close, too.
I like the fact that all those guys were in position. So, again, it shows that a lot of work was accomplished in the film sessions this week.
3rd down and 10 now as Carter trying to keep his team on a drive here. Working with the wind at his back, he wants to throw. Rolling right side, looking downfield. Puts it up in the air, and it will be incomplete as he was trying to get on that one.
4th down.
See who his intended receiver was. Can't tell from here, but it will bring up 4th down and 10. Raekwon Smith, the running back out of the backfield, the intended receiver on that. Good coverage again for the Hornets.
Maud Abdul Salam, he was the one on the coverage, Gary, and he did a great job of just going step for step and trying to time his hit as the ball arrived.
Norfolk State will go for it on 4th and 10 at the Delaware State 34-yard line. Carter, pressure coming, throws left side, caught, and a completion, and it will be a first down for Norfolk State as they get it to the Delaware State 20-yard line. Justin Smith on the receiving end of that one had to go up high and pull it down, and a good catch on a good throw.
That was good pitch and catch from Carter to Smith. He put that ball exactly where he needed to place it. Smith positioned himself past the first down marker. So, again, that was just a good, gutsy play on 4th and 10.
Such a great help when a receiver knows where that first down marker is and goes out to the pattern past it. Fake the handoff. Loft one downfield, incomplete, and a late penalty marker as the intended receiver on that play, Quentin Green, stopped with his hands out asking, or check that Mark Ellington, looking to the officials, wondering where the marker was.
Defense, number 22, automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
DeAndre Blue Eli gets called for the 2nd time today on pass interference. That was marginal.
Well, you know, if the wide receiver does a good enough job selling the interference call, sometimes the officials will bite on it, and I think that might have happened on that play.
Yeah, he really worked to get that one. So it brings up 1st and goal here for Norfolk State. They'll run it. and get down to the 7-yard line.
Just a
Savage on the call.
Swarm of Hornets on that play, just defensively surrounding the ball carrier. And again, just playing pretty good team defense right now.
From the 7-yard line, it's 2nd down and goal. And we'll see what the Spartans do on this play here. Aaron Savage in the backfield with quarterback Carter. They give to Savage. He's stopped. And it'll be a loss of yardage on the play all the way back to the 10-yard line. This defense just gets more confident and more stingy as they go along.
About 4 or 5 guys hit him, Gary. Just basically half the team involved on that tackle. Finished up by Jihad Niebauer. So, you know, again, all seem to be in position. Clearly they understand their reads, and they did a lot of work in the film because everybody's in position defensively.
And now Savage stays in the backfield with quarterback Carter on 3rd down and goal from the 10. Carter drops straight back, wants to throw over the middle, touchdown, Norfolk State. As slipping in there and getting between the linebackers to Kendall James. That was easy because James was wide open on the play. Just split across coverage. And the quarterback, Jawan Carter, with another touchdown pass on the season.
Good pass protection.
For Kendall James, his 4th touchdown catch of the season. And the extra point attempt here by Josh Nardone. And hold on, the whistles blow just as the snap goes off. We have a penalty marker. Delay of game. That'll make it a 5-yard longer kick for Norfolk State. Antroy Singleton is the referee for this game today. He has a good crew working with him. So they'll move the ball back. And the holder, Stuart Anderson, kneels right about at the 15-yard line. Nardone will have to kick it again. No crosswind. It's pretty much coming from his back, but it's blocked. And the Hornets will watch it go out of bounds. The kick is blocked. Delaware State will hold on to a 4-point lead here to make it 10-6. Timeout on the field. 10-6 lead, Delaware State. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
Bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
The Hornets will get the ball back here for the first time, having to go into the wind. As we're in the 2nd quarter of action here, a 10-6 lead by Delaware State. They scored on each of their 2 previous possessions. This will be their 3rd chance with the ball in this football game.
If you're Norfolk, you want to kind of drive this kick back into the end zone. You don't want Del State to get any opportunity for a big play on a kickoff return.
Ryan Richter to kick off for the 2nd time. He opened the game. And this one will exactly go 5 yards deep into the end zone. Touchback. And the Hornets will start play from their own territory. Their worst field position of the game here will start at the 25-yard line. Good field position previously. That was a 11-yard touchdown pass. 13 plays, went 78 yards. Took 5 minutes and 48 seconds off the clock. Hornets have some kick-blocking specialists there on special teams.
You know, if it's Delaware State University, Gary, you know, I would think they're looking to maybe score a touchdown because it's going to be really difficult to kick a field goal with this fierce wind blowing them in the face.
Unless it's a very short one, but they'll run it right through the middle. And you know who that was, Thomas Bertrand Hudon, to carried out to the 30-yard line. Gain of 5. And I think He got down low. His momentum actually carried him down more than being hit down. Had he been up higher in his stance, he might have been able to maintain his balance for even more.
Man, that's a tough spot on that because it looked like he was on the other side of the 30, but
they
picked up about 4 yards on that play.
Put it at the 29 instead. They'll go to Hudon and fake the handoff to Hudon and run it on the left side. They got me on that one, the end around.
One of those combinations, Gary, where it was just a fake to Bertrand Hudon up the middle and a pitch to David Bowman, the 2,000-yard rusher out of Milford. They've been dying to get this guy rolling because, I mean, you know, he has a big future here. This guy's a tremendous running back. The type of guy who can get lost behind those big offensive linemen. Reminds me of Sproles from the NFL.
Just his 6th carry on the season, averaging 3.2 yards per carry. They'll try to get him in the mix more. And now Bethea, pass complete. Nice catch. Bizette Woodley had to stretch out off balance. Caught it. First down at the 38-yard line.
Told you, we talked about this earlier in the pregame show, Gary, and this guy has a very unique ability to catch that ball while he's running. There are some guys who really struggle with that skill set. They're not really fluid pass catches whilst they're in motion. Some guys are just receivers, but I'm telling you, this guy is really something special. I mean, he's proved it with the awards he's already racking up on television.
It's a technique you have to learn how to keep your head still while you're trying to catch the ball. If you're bouncing all over the place, the ball moves on you. Fake handoff, throwing left side, and there was a mix-up on that play as Bethea threw it way out of bounds.
A little bit of a play-action look, and it looked as if he thought maybe Bizette Woodley was going to go long. He just pulled up for like a quick hitch pad, and so, again, the timing on that pass totally off. And that's the type of play you hate to give away.
Now a very late flag. We just had the penalty marker dropped here. We'll see what this one was about. They just called intentional grounding on that. And the problem was Woodley ran a short pattern. That ball went so far past him and way out of bounds. Even if Woodley had gone downfield further on a longer pattern, that ball would have been way off the mark. The officials dropping the flag for intentional grounding on the play.
That's a tough call considering that the wind is blowing in his face, and, you know, how much of that pass was altered by the wind itself. I don't know. That's a tough one to make.
And usually you'll see grounding if a guy's in trouble in the backfield. He was not in trouble back there. It wasn't like he was trying to dump it off.
Yeah, he wasn't avoiding any sack. He was standing upright in the pocket.
It's going to be 2nd down and 16. Fake the handoff, and the pass will be picked off by Norfolk State. It's Devin Coles on the interception, and Coles is wrangled down at the 48-yard line. And a penalty marker, of course, on the field.
And you see how tough it is to throw into the wind. That ball hung up just a little bit too long for Tyleek Bethea. Didn't allow Bizette Woodley to kind of control the defender, and the defender had better position.
Dead ball foul. Miles Beverly called for the penalty after the play. Face mask is the call. Devin Coles goes 5'10", 180 pounds, and Bizette Woodley should have the advantage there at 6'5", 200. But you're right, Walk. That ball just kind of hung up there and went away from Woodley, and Coles was in the right spot. 1st and 10 for Norfolk State at the Delaware State 32-yard line. Penalties earlier have not cost the Hornets. Let's see what happens here. Pressure in the backfield. They try the screen, and it's going to be stopped, and a loss of yardage. It's Tristan Murrin in there. The back, Gerald Hewitt, taken down for a loss on the play.
That's a huge loss on what appeared to be some type of a screen that Norfolk was trying to set up. Delaware State just applying so much pressure, didn't really give Norfolk an opportunity to even give it a good look as if they were intending to go downfield.
Murrin just shot right through there, the linebacker. 4-yard loss, 2nd and 14. It's Jawan Carter, the junior quarterback, pulls it down. He'll run with it and slide as he comes across the 35-yard line to the 34. And he got 2 of those yards back.
He's taking some hits early in the game, and, it's starting to affect his judgment. I don't think he wants to really continuously run into, that red wall of Hornets, so he thought the better of it. Looked like he was going to tuck and run, but didn't really see any daylight and just decided to slide and pick up as many yards as he could.
3rd down now. Kevin Johnson, the running back, in the backfield with Carter. Carter drops back, pass coming. They blitz, and it is complete. It will be a 1st down for Norfolk State on the catch. It's Tylen McElhenney, and he was hit initially, would have stopped them short of the 1st down, but he eluded the tackle and picked up the extra yardage down to the Hornets' 14-yard line.
Devin Smith was there for the contact, but he just didn't do a good job of wrapping. Tried to cut him, but he literally high-stepped over Devin Smith and did enough to pick up the 1st down.
Spartans go in the red zone. They'll hand it off, run, left side, touchdown, all the way from the 14-yard line. Untouched, Kevin Johnson. And that will let Norfolk State take a lead here.
And just like that, Norfolk's not only captured the lead, but they swung the momentum in their favor.
Costly mistake, costly penalty there on that interception that moved the ball further upfield. And Jawan Carter and these Norfolk State Spartans took advantage of it. Josh Nardone to kick the extra point. Good snap. Kick is up. Barely got it away, but it is good. And now with 7:34 left in the first half, Norfolk State takes a 3-point lead from Delaware State. It's Norfolk State 13, Delaware State 10, and we have a timeout. This is the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3, and you're listening to HSRN, the voice of HBCU's.
Bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Norfolk State grabs the lead, 4 plays, 32 yards on the touchdown after the interception and the face mask penalty called against Delaware State that set them up with good yardage, a good field position at the Hornets' 32. Now the Hornets will try to come back. And this kick goes about 6-7 yards deep in the end zone, bring it out to the 20, and Delaware State will take it from there.
It's going to be a huge drive for Delaware State University, guy. I want to see where they're at as a team. Good teams answer momentum shifts. Delaware State University has the ability to drive this ball down the field and get it to the end zone. I want to see what they're made of right now.
Both teams have had trouble moving the ball into the wind. That was Norfolk State's problem in the first quarter, and we believe it was a factor on that interception for Delaware State on their first possession, moving in an easterly direction here. One of the Spartans players was down on one knee, Brandon Savage, and I don't know how much contact there was on a kickoff that went 7 yards deep into the end zone, but the trainers actually came out to check on Savage as he goes to the sideline now.
So they can't really go vertical in their passing game. They're going to have to find ways just to get the ball to their playmakers as quickly as possible.
And coming out of the break there, Norfolk State, as the Hornets put their offense on the field, Norfolk State called a timeout. An unusual timeout. Here on HSRN, Monday night, we have basketball for you, 7 o'clock. The Delaware State men will be at home against Long Island, Brooklyn.
They're looking to match the women's intensity because they pulled off a huge victory against our cross-state rivals down at UD. I think the first time in all the meetings of those two programs that the Hornets have come away with a victory.
The women Hornets, the first time that they've won. That was the 13th contest between the Hornets and the Fightin' Blue Hens, and Hornets came away with a pretty impressive victory to make them 2-1 on the regular season. Now the men, looking for their first win, will be at home Monday night against Long Island Brooklyn. We'll have it for you on HSRN with tip-off at 7. Now we're ready for football here, and it'll be the quarterback on the keeper, sliding down at the 34-35-yard line. Tyleek Bethea using the wheels there. He'll get 9 yards on the play.
I love the call. I love the decision-making by Tyleek Bethea. And again, this guy can potentially be a conference leader and a very dangerous rusher as far as quarterbacks are concerned once he really hones in and develops that skill set.
6'5", 200 pounds. He has the size to be able to do that in that position. And when you have a back like Hudon back there, the defense kind of keys on him as he drives forward right there to the 39-yard line to get the first down. But when the defense is looking for him and you fake that handoff to him, it really gives the opportunity on the quarterback to run around the side and get yardage.
You know, Tyleek Bethea just hasn't proven to be a threat because he doesn't run the ball that much. Defenses don't even really key on him. They sometimes will just crash down, really playing that running back, and that gives him opportunities to catch an edge and pick up yards.
1st and 10, Delaware State. They'll keep it on the ground here. It's Hudon again to the 42-yard line. Gets a lot of carries since they decided to go with him as the main running back 3 games ago, and it has paid off. The last 2 games, he's gone over 100 yards. And it has given the Hornets more of an offensive attack than we saw earlier when it was more of a pass-oriented attack.
Right now, Hudon and Richard Harris both set up in the backfield on either side of Tyleek Bethea.
On 2nd down and 7, it's Hudon in motion to the outside. Harris, they fake the handoff to him. Bethea on the carry will lose 2 yards back to the 40, and it brings up 3rd and 9.
Covered well by Norfolk State. Again, they have to respect Tyleek Bethea's ability to run the ball when he runs the ball. So on that particular time, the defensive end stayed home and didn't allow Tyleek Bethea to catch an edge.
Check the spot, 41-yard line. Make it 3rd and 8.
It's 3rd and 8 at the 41.
Thomas Bertrand Hudon working on another 100-yard gain here today. He's up over 70 right now. Up over 80 yards, I'm being told. Yeah. Could be another 100-yard game for him. Here's Tyleek Bethea throwing. It is complete. And where the catch was made, they're going to mark it where the catch was made instead of where the receiver was driven back to. Bazette Woodley went up and grabbed a hold of it and got it at the 50-yard line. 1st down, Delaware State.
Wasn't the greatest of passes, but it did get there by Tyleek Bethea. And, again, it just shows you the unique abilities that this guy, Bazette Woodley, possesses, man, because he just put his 2 hands up there, Gary, grabbed that ball like it was a dart before it's going to hit a dartboard, and put those feet down to pick up that first down.
His hands are leather magnets. That football seems to be attracted to them. Running play up the middle and just crashing through people and dragging tacklers along. Thomas Bertrand Hudon for 7.
Hudon whips out the easy pass and just trucks over guys. Doesn't stop to pay any tolls, just picking up yards, with every step he takes.
Has that electronic tolling. The easy pass lets him go right through there, and he doesn't have to stop. Who wants to deal with dimes?
Right now, Del State's showing pretty good balance with the pass and the run game. They're complementing each other right now, keeping Norfolk somewhat on its heels.
2nd and 3, mixing up the plays as well. It's Hudon being stacked up just past the line of scrimmage. He'll get a yard on the play up to the Norfolk State 42-yard line, and it's 3rd down and 2 now. Now they put the ball back at the previous line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd and 3.
Whole lot of options for Delaware State with this 3rd and short situation. You got a quarterback who can run if he finds a seam on that corner. And we got a very good 3-yard running back in Bertrand Hudon in there.
3, 5, 6, whatever you want. They fake the handoff going left side. Now it's Bethea on the short side, throwing in and out of the hands of Miles Beverly, the tight end. He started to run before he had the ball in his hands.
Yeah, one of those situations. I mean, he's not a target a constant target in the offense. But, every opportunity you get, you got to make. And that ball was 100% catchable. Had he caught that, he was easily going to pick up the first down.
That would have only been the 4th catch of the season for Miles Beverly. But as the ball hit his hands, he was starting to run, and he didn't have a hold of it yet. And the Hornets will be forced now to punt for the first time today. And it will be Fidel Aroma Martinez in to punt. A little bit of a rugby style, as we've seen from him before. And he got a good one, too. It hung up a bit as Norfolk State's return man. Dangerous play as he picked it up and ran with it. It was about dead, but Bobby Price on the punt return picked up an extra 15 yards for his team. The Hornets were kind of complacent with that one.
Yeah, a little lax as far as getting down there on punt coverage, and they paid the price for it. They have to discount the win. Shouldn't affect the way that they play.
A timeout. Delaware State trails now 13-10.
The world's never gotten enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
3 minutes left to go in the first half here. Juwan Carter with his team at the line of scrimmage. All the scoring has come when the offense has had the wind at their back here today. And they'll hand it off on first down to Raekwon Smith. Smith brings it up to the 28-yard line. He'll get 4 yards on the play.
Whole lot of pushing and shoving down there, guys.
Yeah.
It seems like these two teams just don't like each other right about now.
Well, it started on the opening kickoff, and it has continued through the whole game. The officials have done well to keep it under control. Here's quarterback Carter throwing on second down, and they'll get the first down as the pass is completed to Justin Smith. He'll step out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
Blue Eli in on the defensive coverage again, just giving a lot of cushion, playing really soft defense.
Norfolk State back to the line of scrimmage quickly. Not much chance for the Hornets to do any changes defensively. Pass completed again to Smith. Smith gets to the 45-yard line. That's going to be an 8-yard gain, and it will bring up second down and 2. Hold on. There's a flag in the backfield. Roughing the passer, the call here, and it will give Norfolk State a first down.
Again, Blue Eli in on the defensive coverage, and again, Gary, just giving a real soft cushion type of a defense on that receiver.
Kind of in no man's land. He's been called for pass interference twice, so he's backed off a little bit, and they're victimizing him with it. To the Hornets' 39-yard line, first down. They want to go deep. They put it up in the air, and it will be well past intended receiver DeKendall James. In fact, if the Hornets had a coverage man down there just a little bit faster, they might have had an interception. That ball was thrown way downfield. Looked like the wind grabbed a hold of that one and carried it about 5 yards more than they wanted. Yeah,
there's a little jet stream out here, and it's running the direction of the length of the field, and right now it's blowing on the backs of Norfolk State, so they're going to get all the benefits that wind can offer.
As we said, both teams on their touchdowns, their scores have come with the wind at their back. Here's Carter, pulls it down. He'll run with it and put his head down, get up to the 31-yard line of Delaware State. A nice pickup on second down for Juwan Carter to the 31. Makes it third down and 2.
Third down.
Now Carter from the shotgun. Quick out. Complete. First down. And it's Marquet Elliott on the catch. Up to the Delaware State 31-yard line. Just a little 5-yard out pattern, but a first down.
Again, Delaware State not really playing hard man-to-man. Jermaine Granger on the defense. Right now, both of the Norfolk receivers enjoy about an 8-yard cushion from the D-backs.
They fake the handoff on a draw play, complete the pass. It'll be another Norfolk State first down as Anthony Williams caught the ball just about 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, but he had wide open space to run for yards after the catch. It'll be first down for the Spartans at the Hornets' 13-yard line as they're looking to extend the lead now, and they're doing it with quick passes. Little screen set up on the left side. The pass complete goes to Kendall James, and to Kendall James dancing down the sideline, finally stepped out of bounds at the 11. So they didn't get a lot of yardage on that, maybe 2, and that really could have gone for a whole lot more.
Could have been a tackle for a loss, but Blue Eli doesn't do a good job of wrapping up. He makes the contact, but he just can't bring the receiver down. So again, Norfolk doing a good job of catching that ball in space, kind of exploiting Delaware State, not doing a whole lot of shifting and moving. It just seems like they're getting wide open, so that means there's some blown coverages by Delaware State.
2nd down and 8. Raekwon Smith, the back in the backfield with quarterback Jawan Carter. Carter takes the direct snap, drops back, looking to throw, can't do it, pulls it down, runs right side, gets away from one tackler, and finally goes out of bounds down around the 10-yard line. There's a penalty marker in the secondary, and that's probably not good for Delaware State.
Could be a holding on Norfolk.
We'll have to see what the call is here. We'll watch for Antroy Singleton, the referee, as the officials huddle up and determine what the penalty was and where they're going to put the football. Looking where quarterback Jawan Carter went out of bounds on that play.
He took a big shot, too.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's the call.
Holding. Defense number 2. Half the distance. They end up losing.
That's why they were looking where the play ended so they could take it half the distance from there. It'll be Jihad Niebauer called on the holding penalty to make it first. Apparently the Hornets declined the penalty.
Seems to be some
Showing
confusion.
2nd down and 2 at the 5-yard line as a result of that play. So Carter looking, had plenty of time, and it's broken up. Stepping in front and batting the pass away. Kamari Jackson.
Should have had an interception. That ball hit him in both hands, and he just dropped it.
Yeah, that was a line drive. And a Hornet getting up slowly on the play, and he'll come out limping. And we'll see who that is as he comes to the sideline. Christian Johnson, the defensive lineman for Delaware State. It actually looked like he was grabbing the back of the thigh. 3rd down here. Hornets trying to deny Norfolk State the end zone. And another timeout is called here. Spartans using another timeout. That'll leave them one more for the half. Just 24 seconds left in the half here, so they can go into the locker room with a pretty comfortable lead, or Delaware State can feel good about holding them off. But the wind apparently is having an effect in this game.
Yes, it is. And
nobody has scored heading into the wind, or even moved the ball well.
At this juncture of the game, if you DSU, Gary, you got to dig deep. You got to come up with a stop right now. You can accept the field goal, but you can't give up a touchdown right now. So they got to make sure they're in position. They got to make sure that there are no blown assignments. They got to literally see if they can force Norfolk to set their kick game up and stop attacking the end zone for a touchdown.
This is an important 3rd down here, and Norfolk State pretty good on 3rd downs here so far today. With the ball at the 5-yard line. 3rd down. Some motion, and the snap back to Carter. Throws incomplete over the head of his receiver, Justin Smith. Smith comes out wanting the flag. There was no contact there.
The officials had to make a decision. They decided to keep the handkerchiefs in their pocket, so this is going to force Norfolk to make a decision. Do they go for the 6 or do they just try to take the easy field goal?
Well, Josh Nardone has gone onto the field. He's the place kicker, and they are setting up for a field goal. Ball will be on the far side hash mark, not quite in the middle of the field.
About the same distance that he had to kick an extra point that Delaware State blocked. So let's see if they can get lucky 2 times in one game.
And now a whistle blows and a penalty marker, and it's a delay of game against Norfolk State. That's twice they've been called on a delay of game on a kick attempt. So instead of a 23-yard field goal, it will be a 28-yard attempt. And with this wind, the longer you have to kick it, the more the wind can play with it. Spartans with a 3-point lead right now, trying to extend it.
Oh, this is going to be another 5 yards.
Yeah.
Penalty flag on the play.
Movement. And the Hornets reacted to it. And Josh Nardone steps back another 5 yards to mark his spot at the 23-yard line to make it a 33-yard attempt. The penalties here helping Delaware State, maybe, by making it a longer distance in this strong wind for Josh Nardone. And now, finally, the snap. The kick is up. And it is good. Had to wait for the officials on that one. Couldn't tell from here. So Josh Nardone hitting that one. Coming into the game, he was 6 of 7 on field goal attempts, so he's good here today on that one. And that makes it a 16-10 lead for Norfolk State. And we have 16 and a half seconds left here in the first half. Hornets went out, put 10 up on the board unanswered, and then Norfolk State has come back here in the second quarter with 16 unanswered, 11 plays, 61 yards on that score.
I think when we come out of the second half, Delaware State will have the ball, so they'll have an opportunity to try to answer to this latest drive for Norfolk State.
And now Norfolk State dealing with the wind knocking the ball off of the tee, and they're going to send somebody right out there to be the holder. Who turns around and looks at the rest of the other 9 players and says, "Why me?" Guys who are not normally holders for kicks don't like to put their hands down there. This is a short kickoff. Hornets get it at the 10-yard line. Crossing field up to the 15, the 16, 17-yard line. Hit there, and spinning around is
Kevin Meady on the kickoff return. First and 10 for your Hornets.
who was that on the return?
Kevin Meady.
Kevin Meady, number 49. And a nice return by Meady. Used up, though, a lot of the clock with that return, and it gets us down to 9.8 seconds. So the question is, will the Hornets try something on this play, 1st and 10 from their own 17, or just kneel down? They spread it out, sending receivers out wide on the right side, 1 on the left side. Let's see what they try to do here. They hand it off into the middle, and it's Hudon up to the 21, 22-yard line. It really doesn't matter where he got to, because that was the final play of the first half here in Dover, Delaware. And they'll go to the locker room here at halftime with Norfolk State leading Delaware State 16-10. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3, and you're listening to HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports.
Timeless machine.
Both teams are on the field and ready to go. And we just are waiting for the okay. Josh Nardone will kick off into the wind for Norfolk State. The Hornets will get the ball to start the second half here with the wind at their backs. And as we said in the first half, all the scoring was done when the team had the wind with them, not in their faces. So the Hornets could possibly do something here in the third quarter to get back into the lead.
Most football players are superstitious guys, so if they think there's some advantage with playing with the wind to your back, it's probably going to influence the game. Again, we'll see what Delaware State does on this opening drive, but this is a very critical opening drive here in the second half for Del State. They have to send a message to Norfolk and themselves.
And they had to use a holder on the kickoff. It's a squib kick, comes down to the 23-yard line. It's going to be returned by Jordan Hanna, and he won't get much farther than that as he is taken down for Delaware State.
Linebacker Matt Hodges
27.
Doing a good job of open field tackle. Looked like Jordan Hanna was trying to reverse field, but he just got met by a handful of Matt Hodges.
In the first half, Thomas Bertrand Hooden, 14 carries for Delaware State, 92 yards. So he has an opportunity here, and could happen in the third quarter, to put up another 100-yard game. It would be his third in a row.
We'll have to check the history books to see the last running back that did that.
Tyleek Bethea completed 4 of 7 for 35 yards. He goes to the air deep. He had Bazette Woodley open, but the wind carried that one about 10 yards too far.
Probably needed about a half a second more to gather himself, Gary, and really kind of figure out where Bazette Woodley was at. But he just put that ball up in the air, hoping that he would catch it. And I think that wind took that ball maybe an extra 5 yards.
That and maybe just a little bit more of an arc on the ball, and it would have dropped down in Woodley's hands, and we'd be talking about a touchdown. He was well 2-3 yards behind the defender on that play. Like the way they come out here, though, in the second half with going for it all on one play. They started the game with a touchdown run on one play that really got things going for the Hornets. Now they'll take it on the ground, and it's Thomas Bertrand Hooden taking it up to the 29-yard line. Pick up a 2, 3rd and 8.
Big play for Delaware State University. Really got to focus on picking up this first down. Can't allow this opening possession in the second half to be a 3-and-out.
No, can't. And they didn't have to punt until the second quarter. They only punted once in that second quarter. Another time they gave the ball to Norfolk State. It was on an interception, and then Norfolk State was helped after the interception by a face mask penalty. They got good field position and turned it into points. So from the shotgun on 3rd down and 8, Tyleek Bethea drops straight back, wants to throw, steps up. Now he'll run with the ball and slide and get the first down for the Hornets.
All depends on where they spot.
Now a penalty marker comes in. Markers today have not been immediately. There have been some late penalty markers. And they're going to put down that he started his slide a yard short of the first down at the 36-yard line. But we'll wait to see. They got Norfolk State there for a 15-yarder. And that will put the ball up across the 50-yard line to the Spartans' 49-yard line.
If you're Tyleek Bethea, you really got to be conscious of down and distance. You know, I know he wants to protect himself for the next play, but that was a huge play that he might have come up a yard short. You got to pick up those first downs in those situations.
His 4th carry of the game. Now he'll give it to Hudon, fake the handoff on the play action, complete a pass, and good catch made for Delaware State. And that is to Bazette Woodley to the 30-yard line on Norfolk State. He had to reach way out on that one to pull that in.
I'm not exactly sure what it is they're trying to determine here.
I think the two players kind of rolled together when the catch was made and the tackle made. That was Trey Gross on the catch, by the way, not Bazette Woodley. And that's the first time somebody besides Woodley has caught the ball for the Hornets today. Brandon Savage on the tackle. They just kind of got tangled up and took a while to unpile there. Hooten takes it around right tackle, inside the 25-yard line, down close to the 20-yard line. Instead of taking it through the middle that time, they had a bit of a sweep going to the right side, and that picked up big yardage.
Again, I guess they're just convinced that with the wind behind their back, they're a better team, because right now they're just marching down the field. And if they can get into the end zone, that would be a huge statement for Delaware State's offense.
2nd and 1 from the 21-yard line. Hudon directly behind quarterback Tyleek Bethea. Bethea fakes the handoff, throws into the middle, it's intercepted. And down the far sideline, Norfolk State's going to have a pick six here, down to the 30, the 20, the 10-yard line. Touchdown, Norfolk State.
Bethea's pass is intercepted by number 7, Bobby Price.
Bobby Price on the pick, and upfield, well away from where anything was happening. We have a penalty marker and a Norfolk State player down back at the 30-yard line of Norfolk State. But the flag upfield here, let's see what that is all about. Inadvertent flag. Touchdown, Norfolk State.
It's one of those plays where Tyleek Bethea didn't see that defensive back in coverage and threw a pass that I know he wished he could have back right now.
And it was just a short distance past the line of scrimmage, so all that Bobby Price had to do was get past a couple of tacklers and then race down the far sideline. 84 yards on the interception return by Bobby Price, and that really sets the Hornets back here. First time a team has scored facing the wind, and it was done by the defense of Norfolk State. Josh Nardone to kick the extra point. We haven't seen anybody try to kick into this wind so far today. See what the factor is out of the hold of Stuart Anderson, and it is good.
The extra point is good.
So Norfolk State extends the lead. The last with 12:08 left in the third quarter. Now it's a 13-point lead for the Spartans and a timeout. You're watching the MEAC.
Bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Psyche. So hopefully, the offense will get right back out there and have a short memory, because they're going to have to, get back in this game by scoring some points quickly.
Norfolk State will kick off here. Josh Nardone to do the chores again. And once more they put out Nair Quinerly to be the holder, and that squib kick once more picked up at the 33-yard line, or actually covered for Delaware State at the 33-yard line. And a pretty wise decision there by Kevin Meady to do so. When you try to pick one up that's laying on the ground, sometimes you don't get the handle, and then the coverage team is there. Can lead to bad things.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think he made the wise decision. Just maintain possession of the ball, get the offense out there, and let them see what they can do as far as driving down the field and getting some points.
Hornets will start with the ball 1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line and try to move things down, and they really need to get points now on this possession, down by 13.
David Bowman in the backfield, along with Tyleek Bethea.
Bowman faked the handoff to him. Bethea finds an opening on the left side, outside the left tackle, and he'll go down all the way to the 40-yard line. Using that option and faking the handoff there, they picked up good yardage and a first down.
For a guy who's 6'5", 200 pounds, he's very mobile.
Doesn't he move well?
Yeah, he's just got to really look to integrate, that run aspect into his overall game. If he can do that, this guy's going to be one of the more dangerous quarterbacks in the MEAC.
A year ago, he was finishing up his high school season, learning the process here at Delaware State as the season goes along. Bowman through the middle, big hole to the 50, 40-yard line, 35-yard line, and driven out of bounds somewhere in the vicinity of the 33-yard line by Norfolk State. And now a penalty marker, as there was continued contact out of bounds on the tackle by Nigel Chavis.
Just giving you a glimpse of what they saw when they gave this man an opportunity to come play here. This is a guy who rushed for 2,000 yards in one season. He's a true weapon. We just got to find a way to get him integrated into our offense.
And it's taken a while to get him in there, because for For a while for Delaware State, it was a different running back showing up every week. But now for the last 3 weeks, it has been Thomas Bertrand Hooten who's done the job for Delaware State. So now you can spell him a little bit, and maybe if you use both in the backfield at the same time, they have to look at somebody else besides Hooten.
You know, you got the guy who pounds it inside the tackles, Hooten, and you got the guy with all the wheels, David Bowman.
And Bowman stays in the backfield. They'll give it to him again. He'll take it up the middle, get to the 30-yard line, and still fighting for yardage up to the 27-yard line. I thought he was stopped at the 30.
He's strong, you know. This is his second year here at Delaware State University. His first year, we had him on the other side of the ball playing defensive back. But Coach Milstead reevaluated and said, you know what, I think your greatest strengths would really assist us on the offensive side of the ball.
Scored a touchdown on a 3-yard interception return against Virginia Lynchburg in the final game of the season last year. He played in 10 games. Here's Bethea looking for the end zone, and it is over the head of Trey Gross. He threw it to the outside shoulder. Gross was turned around looking for it, but just couldn't spin around and get to it. Some hand checking going on the coverage down there.
Second time he's targeted Trey Gross for an end zone shot, and you know, you got to make things happen. You got to come up with these spectacular plays. I mean, that's what differentiates guys from the Division II level from the Division I level. These guys are here because they can make those kind of plays.
It's 3rd down and 4, and Hooten is back in the backfield for Delaware State. Bethea takes the snap. He rolls to his left side, breaks a tackle back there, runs out of bounds. Was he aware of where the first down marker was, and did he get there is the question, as they will mark the ball here, and I think he got it.
They have a marker on the sideline here, so he did target that marker.
Yeah. Now let's see where they put it down. A yard short of the first down. It'll be 4th and 1 at the Norfolk State 24-yard line.
That's a tough situation, too, because he was using that sideline marker, the one that's on Del State side, as the guide, and that's not necessarily accurate.
Right. Only if the guy holding it on this side is really lining it up with the opposite side of the field. Big 4th and 1 here for the Hornets. They'll give it to Hooten. He puts his head down, hit initially in the backfield, but managed to push forward, and he's going to be close enough to this one that we're going to have to wait to find out if he got the first down. And the officials indicate he got it. First down, Delaware State.
If you're Del State, you got to dig deep now. Your worst nightmares have happened. You started off with a 10-point lead. Now you find yourself trailing early in the second half. You just came off of a pick six. You have to answer with some points on the board.
Make the new line of scrimmage the Norfolk State 22-yard line. Hooten remains in the backfield with Tyleek Bethea. They pack it up on the right side and run the short side of the field there. Hooten picking up 2 yards to the 20-yard line. Had a lot of receivers out on the right side there with the ball on the near side hash mark. Ran it to the short side of the field without much blocking out there.
I saw some one-on-one coverage situations with Trey Gross and Bissett Woodley in the slot position. And, again, I think they may send that combination. No, they're just going to split them up this time and put them on both sides of Tyleek Bethea.
It'll be Woodley on the short side of the field here on the left side. Bethea looking for Woodley. He is out of bounds. And a penalty marker now thrown. And there was contact. Wondered if they would get it. The official first dropped his hat where they went out of bounds and then threw the flag at the 10-yard line. And Norfolk State not happy about this penalty at all. Finally was there on coverage. And this may be an offensive penalty the way Norfolk State is acting. Uncatchable ball, they lifted up, they picked up the flag, and that's a couple of times now. They picked up that yellow cloth off the field.
It's 3rd and 7.
3rd down and 7 for Delaware State at the 19-yard line. This is a critical 3rd down play here for Delaware State. They need to keep this drive alive just inside the red zone. Down by 13. We have 8:27 left in the third quarter. Bethea has Bowman in the backfield with him. Receivers split out on both sides. Bethea, plenty of time, throwing end zone. And it looked like his arm may have been hit as he let that ball go, and it sailed over top of everybody. But I think his arm got hit.
Decisions for Delaware State University. With the wind at his back, this is a makeable field goal for Romo Martinez.
Yeah, they'll give it a try. His longest of the year is a 45-yarder. This one will be a 36-yarder. The left-footed kicker. Tough part he has right now is figuring out where the goalposts are. He's looking directly into the sun. The snap, the kick is up, and it is through the uprights and good. No.
Sailed to the right.
Oh, man, I thought I saw it go through. All right, so that explains why Norfolk State was running off celebrating. I thought they were celebrating that they had held Delaware State to 3. The ball will be Norfolk State's ball then. And a timeout on the field. Norfolk State 23, Delaware State 10. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3. And you're listening to HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports.
Timeless machine.
Gary Lang and Mike Walker at Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware on this brisk November afternoon. Now Norfolk State facing into the wind with the sun at their backs, and they will throw on first down. It is complete. Out on the side to Chillin McElhenney. Just picks up a few yards. The line of scrimmage was the 20-yard line, and it picked up 5 out to the 25.
That's a good pitch and catch by Norfolk State again. You know, Delaware State, they need some gamblers at those cornerback spots. They got to get up on these guys and can't allow them to catch these short passes and then put some finishing touch on it.
Yeah, they're eating them up with those short passes. There's a running play, left side, Aaron Savage, the running back. He slips down in the backfield, loses a yard, back to the 24, 3rd and 6. That Hornet defense was about to hit Savage as he tried to put the brakes on, and well, it must have been a little icy because he slid. Not a bit of ice on the field, but he found a spot.
Could be the turf, too. You know, the turf is the 12th man on everybody's field, and he's got more tackles than anybody else.
Yeah, historically. 3rd down and 6 now as Juwan Carter looks it over, takes the snap, pump fakes. Now he'll run with the football. Gets away from, he didn't get away from that tackler. Good tackle. Jihad Niebauer coming up and making the stop. Thought he was going to cut inside of Niebauer, but he stayed on it, and he stopped him at the 26-yard line. 4th and 4. The Hornets will get the ball back with 6:50 left in the third quarter.
Keenan Black is back to field this punt return. He's an explosive returner, but he's got to contend with that sun in his eyes.
High snap, they almost got it. Black will have to let this one go, and it takes off laterally and then starts to roll backward, and they'll down it at the 50-yard line. Good field position here for Delaware State when we return. But right now the score is Norfolk State 23, Delaware State 10. Timeout on the field. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3 and listening to HSRN. Gary Lang and Mike Walker here at Delaware State University on Hall of Fame weekend. It's almost like homecoming around here with all the folks who came back for this one. Some standouts from Delaware State athletics over the years. Here's Tyleek Bethea on the keeper, and the option takes it around the left side and picks up about 7 yards on the play.
Seems like every time he touches the ball, Gary, he's picking up 7, 8, 9 yards every time he rushes the ball. So, again, he's got to really take a good look at film after this game, and he's got to recognize, you know what, I'm actually a decent runner. I got to really incorporate this aspect into my game.
And they really maybe need to put some plays out there that make him run with the football more than the option. Here's Hudon through the middle, puts his head down, gets across the 40-yard line to the 39. That will be a Delaware State first down.
Again, whatever Del State needs to do, they just need to continuously pound away, pick up first downs, get themselves deep in the red zone, and then have that option of going for the touchdown or walking over the field goal. But I'll tell you what, right now, 6 is what the doctors ordered.
Clock is now becoming a problem for Delaware State, though, as we're getting down to the 5.5-minute mark of the third quarter, and they're down by a couple of touchdowns. Bethea with a long snap count. Gives Hudon again. He just puts his head down and rambles through there, bull-like, picking up 5 yards.
Second down for Delaware State.
Got it up to the 34-yard line.
I like that combination of Hudon and Bowman. They complement each other. One guy's, the power back. The other guy's the speedy small back that gets lost behind those big offensive line. I like that type of balance.
On 2nd down and 5, they give it to Hudon again. He not only had a big hole to run through, but he then stiff-armed a guy as he was coming through, and he's going to be very close to another first down. They'll put it up to the 33-yard line. He needed 5. He got 6. First down, Hornets. Thomas Bertrand Hudon has gone over 100 yards, by the way, for the 3rd consecutive game. And the last DSU player to do that was Emmanuel Mark back in 2006.
Emmanuel Mark, part of that very prestigious group of 1,000-yard rushers for Del State.
Bethea again on the carry. Big hole to the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Delaware State. The quarterback keeper bootlegging it around the left side. And again, that defense keying on Hudon, and that opened it up outside the tackle for Tyleek Bethea.
Yeah, if they don't respect this run game, they're going to have to pay, and they just paid for it. That's a huge play for Tyleek Bethea on 2 levels. One, it picks up a touchdown, but more importantly, it shows this young man he is a run threat, and he needs to accept the fact that he can get it done just by running the ball.
And the extra point kick is good for Delaware State. We have 4:16 left in the third quarter, and the Hornets pull within 6. And that missed extra point earlier in the game by Norfolk State now becomes a factor. It's a 6-point lead, 23-17. Talking about Emmanuel Mark, when he went with 3 straight 100-yard games back in 2006, he had 118 against Concord, 130 against Norfolk State, and 165 against Howard. 13 years ago. It's been that long since a Delaware State running back has had 300-yard games in a row. He didn't get any yardage on that last play, but he set up the touchdown because the defense keyed on him in the middle, boxed it up inside the tackles, and that left it open for Tyleek Bethea to run around the left side for a touchdown. Scoring drive, 5 plays, 50 yards for Delaware State. The kickoff goes to the 5-yard line. Coming up the near side hash mark, trying to find some running room. Did so in the middle, and now finally taken down at the Norfolk State 35-yard line. Quentin Green on the return.
It's a good return by Norfolk. Again, Del State did a pretty decent job of getting down there in coverage, but I saw a lot of guys just, kind of giving up after that first impact, waiting maybe for somebody else to make the tackle. And, when you're in any type of special teams, especially kickoff or punt return, you gotta be an animal out there. You gotta be the guy who's trying to make the difference, not looking around to see if somebody else is going to make the play.
Now the defense needs to step up here, and a 3-and-out would be absolutely what the doctor ordered for Delaware State here. Jawan Carter hands off, and a hit in the backfield. They're going to lose yardage on that one. Raekwon Smith was hit initially 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He then tried to get away, lost some more yardage, and it will be at the 29-yard line.
Credit Brandon Carswell with that incredibly blown-up defensive play by Delaware State. He made the initial contact and allowed Brooks Parker to come in and clean up.
It's a 23-17 score. Hornets trail by 6, and one of the missed extra point, a factor. There's a pass into the middle. Is that caught and intercepted? No, they're going to say it was incomplete. Trying to make the diving catch was Tristan Murrin. Just a little bit too low as he made the dive, couldn't pull it in. One factor in this game, the missed extra point, and that means Delaware State scores a touchdown and an extra point. They go back into the lead. the other factor, that pick six, and that's why Norfolk State is in the lead right now.
Yeah, and again, it's one that, Talik Bethea wish he could have back. But, when you're trying to win a game and you're taking chances, that's what happens when you pass the ball. Good and bad things.
3rd down and 15 for the Spartans. Here's Carter having to run to the right side. Pressure coming. Dumps it off, and it's incomplete. Jumping up, trying to make the catch for Norfolk State was Kareem Burgess.
How did that happen?
And all of a sudden on the sideline, Burgess got pushed out of bounds, and then as he tried to come back, check that, it was Quentin Green was the intended receiver. Just a kind of a collision on the sideline. Sean McFarland, as he tried to come off the sideline, go back on the field, collided with a Delaware State player. The officials realizing it was unintentional, no flag thrown. Here's the punt, and taken on the run for Delaware State. Here we go. It's Keenan Black. Black to the 10-yard line, to the 5, touchdown, but we have a penalty marker down, and it would be in the area of what was the kicking team's backfield. Now we have one further upfield. We have a marker down back around the 17-yard line and one upfield at the 41. But Keenan Black on that, the ball bounced in front of him. He was on the run, took it, and on the first bounce, and found a way down the field for an apparent touchdown. But for it to be one, both of these penalties have to be on Norfolk State.
So the one here at the 40 is a crackback block.
So further upfield, could be a problem with a block on the return by Delaware State. Downfield, it looks like it was in the backfield of Norfolk State on the punt. The officials huddling up here, and we will find out here from Antroy Singleton what these calls are about. Mr. Singleton, it's yours. Give the ball back to Norfolk State. Not only does it wipe out a touchdown, but the Spartans get the ball back. Declining the crackback block penalty, but accepting, and I couldn't quite hear what he said the first penalty was. Leaving the field?
No.
Or
the first penalty was a blindside block, leaping into the field. The second penalty is a personal foul for leaping over the
okay. Delaware State player tried to leap over, and that was the penalty. Moves the ball up to the Spartans' 44-yard line on the 15-yard penalty.
That leaping call was a terrible call. That was a gentleman trying to actually block a punt.
Now we have a whistle at the snap of the ball. Illegal procedure against Norfolk State will move the Spartans back out to the 39-yard line. Well, I saw somebody go up in the air. I thought they were blocked up in the air because they kind of spun around.
You have a right to leave your feet to try to block the punt, so I'm not exactly sure how he was leaping over anybody.
First and 15 for Norfolk State. His defense trying to dig in here and make a stop. They had, but that penalty on the punt got to them. Norfolk State running the ball upfield, picking up 4 of the 5 they lost on the penalty. And that was carried number 13.
Del State, you got to keep your cool in this situation. I know those guys out there, really amped and really excited to play. Got to remain under control. You can't give away any free yards with penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct type penalties, because usually they're accompanied by big yards and first downs.
2nd and 11. Jawan Carter has done the job through the air today for Norfolk State, has moved his team well, steps back, quick throw, outside, complete, stiff arm, and then stepping out of bounds by Gerald Hewlett. And picking up just a few of those yards that they needed to get back. See where they mark him out of bounds at the 49-yard line. 3rd down and 5 for Norfolk State.
It's 3rd and 5 at the 49.
Spartans and the Hornets are going to call a timeout here as quickly head coach Rod Milstead ran to the official and called the timeout for Delaware State.
And that's a good timeout by Coach Milstead because this is a very critical down right here. If they manage to stop Norfolk, they get the ball back potentially halfway decent field position because Norfolk would be punting into the wind. But if they were to give up a first down, then, Norfolk will continuously have an opportunity to drive down the field and maybe, if not put more points on the board, definitely take a lot of time off of the clock.
Carter, 13 of 23 passing today for 116 yards and a touchdown. Program reminder for you here on HSRN. Monday night, we will have Delaware State University men's basketball as the Hornets will be home against Long Island of Brooklyn. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock here on HSRN. HSRN.com or the HSRN mobile app. We're ready to come back to action here on 3rd down and 5 at the Spartans' 49-yard line. And a long count by Carter here takes it down to 5 seconds before they snap the ball. Can't find anybody open. Finally does so. Throws left side, complete first down, Norfolk State to Kevin Johnson. Johnson taken out of bounds at about the 40-yard line of Delaware State.
Johnson looked to be about the 4th target on that particular pass. Yep. Carter was rolling to his right, came all the way back to his left, and found him in the flat, wide open. Just nobody in coverage over there.
Most of Delaware State's coverage on that was pretty good, but so was that offensive line for Norfolk State. They couldn't get any pressure on Carter when he couldn't find anybody open. So they pick up another first down here, and they'll run the ball to the right side, giving it to Kevin Johnson. Johnson carries it up close to the 37-yard line. They'll give him 3 yards. 2nd down.
Del State's played extremely well in the box. They haven't really given up a whole lot of big plays as far as running the ball is concerned. Norfolk has done a good job of picking up those big plays in the air.
2nd down and long yardage now for Norfolk State. As they keep Johnson in the backfield, he is on the left side of quarterback Jawan Carter. Carter trying to bootleg it around the left side. Cut back inside of a tackler, got down maybe to the 29-yard line. We'll see if they put it down there, and that's where they're going to put it down. It'll be 3rd and 4 now, as Carter tried the same thing that turned into a touchdown for Tyleek Bethea for Delaware State, but not with the same result. Junior quarterback Jawan Carter, always a threat to run as much as he can hurt you with his passing. Carter.
And they're just going to let the time
run out on the 3rd quarter. 15 minutes to go, and the Hornets trail by 6 here at home. It is Norfolk State 23, Delaware State 17. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3, and you're listening to HSRN. We are the voice of HBCU.
Gotten enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
At Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware, I'm Gary Lang. Mike Walker is with me, and it is 3rd down and 4 for Norfolk State from the Delaware State 34-yard line. Carter drops back wide open on the left side, complete to Kevin Johnson. Slipped out of the backfield, and nobody noticed him there, and he caught it for the first down.
They brought the linebacker on that side, and that's generally the person who would be responsible for him. So it was one of those, gut call type of a plays where you bring a whole bunch of pressure and just hope you get to the quarterback before he can find a wide open receiver.
And they didn't, so it takes it to the 14-yard line of Delaware State. Now the run at left side. Johnson couldn't find really any place to run out there. Now another late marker. I mean, these markers are coming 4 or 5 seconds after the play is over all day today.
It just seems like the players are orchestrating half of them and reminding the refs, hey, that was a penalty, throw the flag.
This one's going to be against Norfolk State. Indication is holding. That's Kenneth Kirby, the offensive lineman, who got called for it. Kirby, the left tackle on that play, moves the ball back 10 yards to the 24-yard line. They'll repeat first down, but it'll be 1st and 20, and that helps this Hornet defense.
Gives them a little bit of cushion to work with. So right now, it's all about applying pressure to the quarterback and keeping everything in front of you. Don't allow these wide receivers to get behind you.
Juwan Carter rolls right side, throwing inside the 5-yard line. Touchdown, Norfolk State. No penalty markers on the play. Spartans touchdown. And again, they beat the coverage on the play. And the Hornets are now in a hole that it's going to be hard to dig out of. Plenty of time left, however, because we've just started this 4th quarter.
He just seemed to be wide open on that play. I'm not even sure who had him covered.
I don't think anybody did. Here's Nardone on the extra point attempt. Goes out there sockless, looks like. And the extra point is good. And that will make it 30-17. Again, a 13-point lead for Norfolk State with just over 14 minutes to go. 10 plays, 66 yards on that scoring drive. And a timeout. 30-17, Norfolk State leading. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3, listening to HSRN, the voice of HB.
Timeless machine.
13-point lead for Norfolk State now. 30-17 over Delaware State. Neither team has scored moving in an easterly direction today. The wind has let up a bit. Those flags on the far side of the field not standing out quite the way they were when this game started. They were straight out and just about looked like they had been starched when the game started. Now there's a little bit of wave to them. The kickoff is taken at the 5-yard line for the Hornets, and a good return coming back up with it is Kevin Meddy. And Meddy gets out from the 5-yard line for Delaware State to, looks like they're going to mark it at the 29-yard line. And they needed a good return there. They didn't want to be too deep back there. They didn't want to be back in their own red zone.
They're starting in fairly decent field position, and we saw what they did on their last possession. They put together a run-dominant drive where a lot of different guys touched the ball, and then Tyleek Bethea capped it off with the long touchdown run. Let's see what happens this possession.
May force him to go to the air a bit more here in the game. He will drop back on first down. Want to throw. He gets pulled down in the backfield as that pocket collapsed around him. And that'll be a loss of about 5 yards on the play.
He was looking for a home run shot to Bizette Woodley down the field. But again, there's plenty of time left. We don't have to try to force the quick victory. I think they really just need to nickel and dime this Norfolk defense and just move down the field because they have to come away with points. Can't have a pointless possession right now.
Gets tougher after that play now. 2nd and 15 for Delaware State back at their 24-yard line. They'll run the ball. Hudon into the middle. Works his way out close to the 28-yard line. Got back some of the yardage they needed. 4 of the yards. Makes it 3rd and 11. Jordan Hanna checks in to the huddle. Miles Beverly, the tight end, checks out. Hornets will send 2 receivers out on each side of the line of scrimmage with a back in the backfield with quarterback Tyleek Bethea. It's Hudon back in the backfield. Long count here. Down to 5 seconds on the play clock. snap. Bethea, pump, look, throw, sideline, off the mark. Thrown in the vicinity of Corin Aline, who has been largely silent today offensively.
You know, this is shallow cross time for Delaware State University. Anything that's really going vertical, those are going to be tough passes to complete. You really want to get a situation where you're kind of going east and west and not north and south as far as your pass game is concerned. Allow these guys to catch the ball running across the field and work their way up, because the vertical pass is just not going to work for Del State.
4th and 11, and the punter goes in. End over end kick. Bounces and starts to go back on Delaware State, and they quickly covered it before it went too far back. Good reaction there by Brandon Carswell to stop that ball from going backward and helping Norfolk State on yardage. Bad enough, they'll have the ball at the Hornets' 46-yard line.
Fresh off of a touchdown for their last possession, Norfolk gets an opportunity to work some of this clock with the wind to their back, so they have the pass-run option that they struggled with when they were facing the other direction on the field. And you know, this is going to need for Del State's defense to step up and make a big stop.
Would expect Norfolk State at this point in the game with a 13-point lead to keep the ball on the ground here and try to use up as much of the clock as they can, and they'll run it on first down, give it off to Gerald Hewlett. Hewlett back to the line of scrimmage, the 46-yard line, and nothing more.
Del State's been real effective controlling this Norfolk run game today. So, you know, look, their focus is really going to be to move the chains. They can't take their foot off the gas. Can't be overly concerned with the clock. The best case scenario for them is to allow as much clock to tick off before they actually snap the ball. But they got to stay aggressive. They got to try to put the ball up in the air.
2nd down and 10. The Hornets have not been a team that creates a lot of turnovers, especially fumbles this year. But if there's anybody down there who's proficient at ripping a ball out as they're making a tackle, they need to step up. Down by 2 touchdowns. Run left side, and some nice yardage there for Hewlett. Hewlett out to the 38-yard line of Delaware State. 3rd down and 2.
Hewlett at the end of that run just kind of tossing his body into the air. He got airborne just to try to pick up some additional yards, and that's exactly what he did.
It's like some changes at the line of scrimmage after Norfolk State huddled it up, but now the linemen talking to each other.
And they're just watching the clock tick, tick, tick before they snap this ball.
Right. Carter takes it down to 3 seconds before he snaps it. They run left side. They'll have the first down and more. Again, taking it to Hewlett, wearing down that defense with the running plays.
First down, Spartans.
One of the Norfolk State players, a wide receiver, got knocked way out of bounds on that play. The officials went over to make sure that everything came out of that cleanly. Tillin McElhenney.
It's 1st and 10.
He got up a little slowly, too. Now he splits out wide on the right side. I thought for a moment he was going to the bench. But it's 1st and 10 for Norfolk State at the Hornets' 34-yard line. Jawan Carter playing a good game here this afternoon. Throwing downfield, wobbly pass, incomplete. And the intended receiver down there was McElhenney, but it looked like the Hornet defender had the better chance to catch the ball.
Looks like Dwayne Granger on the coverage there. And again, that ball was thrown so high in the air that Granger had a good opportunity to turn his head and just look at the ball, and he actually became the wide receiver.
Yeah, he had the position on that ball. But it sailed a little bit and went over his head, over his hands, and out of bounds and into the end zone. So that brings up now a 2nd down and 10 for the Spartans, as they are content to take as much time as they possibly can between each play and use that clock to their advantage. Again, with a snap at the 2-second mark, they'll run right side. Good gain for Kevin Johnson as he'll get another first down for Norfolk State at the Delaware State 24-yard line is where he's knocked out of bounds.
I don't know if they're tired or if, the fatigue is starting to set in, but that defense just doesn't seem to be as aggressive as they were earlier in the half. And Norfolk's doing a good job of sustaining blocks, and that's allowing people to kind of find lanes and pick up yards where they didn't exist a little bit earlier in the game.
Time of possession coming into this quarter was pretty even. But Norfolk State has been going to a lot of running plays, and they go back and forth, left and right. They're not running through the middle. They're making defensive players run around out there. Here's Carter getting away from a tackler in the backfield. We have a marker down as the pass was completed, but there is a marker 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Time of possession, less than a minute in difference in the time of possession of this game. But again, Norfolk State uses up time on the clock, though, is the problem for the Hornets. It's only a 5-yard penalty. They keep first down, and it used up time on the clock. And Norfolk State's happy with that.
Got to stay aggressive on defense.
Just under 9 minutes to play. We're down at 8:55.
There's another penalty on the play.
What's this one?
Got to be an illegal substitution.
Yeah, before they even got to the line of scrimmage. There's another 5 yards, moves the ball back to the 34-yard line. Now to be first down and 20, and that one did not take any time off the clock. That's a dead ball foul. No, wait a minute, the clock was running. And it stopped on the penalty, and now it's running again. We have 8:45 left in the game. And that long count by quarterback Jawan Carter to use up more and more of the time. Pitch out left side to Hewlett. Hewlett gets up close to the 30-yard line. They'll mark him down at that spot. A gain of 4, 2nd and 16.
I think a little bit of fatigue is starting to set in with Del State because, again, that was a good job by the defender forcing the running back into the pursuit. But all the pursuit couldn't get off the blocks. So, again, when you're fatigued, you tend to remain blocked a lot longer.
And when you're up by 13 points with 8 minutes left in the game, your offensive line really gets a boost and they get stronger. From the shotgun. Carter drops back, looking.
Carter's pass is incomplete. Third down. It's 3rd and 16 at the DSU 30. Carter's pass is incomplete. 4th down. It's 4th and 16 at the 30.
Is the situation here? Chance to make a huge stop here for Delaware State and get the ball back. 7:42 still on the clock as it stopped with the incompleted pass. Carter, run it through the middle, plenty of room. He'll go up and has a block, gets the first down, cuts to the outside 10-yard line, slides down inside the 10-yard line. The middle was wide open, and then he got an important block down there. to let him cut to the outside.
And that's just a backbreaker, for that defense. Probably didn't have the right personnel in there. And, again, they give up a huge 4th and 16 to a scramble by the quarterback. That's just a momentum killer right there.
Had the time to make the substitutions with the incompleted pass and the stoppage of the clock. 1st and goal for Norfolk State. Juwan Carter kind of wrapped the bow around it there on that run. A long way to go, but makes it really tough for Delaware State. Now Aaron Savage will get the carry on the right side of the field. And he is stopped at the 7-yard line. Down in an area, there's a lot of extra lines on the field. This field also used for soccer and multi-sports and lacrosse, and trying to look down there inside the 15-yard line and filter out all the other lines, blue, yellow, white. They put the ball down on the 8-yard line. There was a loss of a yard on that play, 2nd down and goal. Carter again hands it off to Savage, and Savage tries that right side once more and is met there by the entire left side of the defensive line and a couple of linebackers as well. No gain on the play, 3rd down. Norfolk State content with this because it's using up clock and they're in a position where need be they can put 3 more on the board. Right now, it's still a 2-touchdown game for Delaware State to try to get back in it. And here's Carter with a long count. Looks, left side, throws, complete inside the 5. And the tackle immediately made after the catch by Tillin McElhenney. 4th down and goal from the 5-yard line. And they will send out their field goal unit. Josh Nardone with a 20-yard attempt. They'll spot the ball on the 10. Near side, hash mark. A little bit of an angle. And the closer you are, the more of that angle you have when the ball is on the hash mark. Nardone's kick is up, and it is good.
The kick is good.
Norfolk State extends the lead and makes it 33-17. 4:38 left in the football game. Timeout on the field. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3. You're listening to HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports.
We proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
So Delaware State's final conference game of the season is not going to go their way, as we are down now to 4:38 left in the game, and a difference here in the score of 16 points, 33-17. Delaware State could be helped a lot here by a good kickoff return. And it's taken at the 5-yard line. Brought straight up into the middle. Now breaking through, cutting to the outside and getting to the 25-yard line on that kickoff return for the Hornets.
Kevin Meddy.
Kevin Meddy. And he's been active out there today. I don't think we've called his name quite that many times in a single game all season.
Kicking away from Jordan Hanna, and Meddy stepping up and just basically doing the same thing Jordan Hanna would do, running hard, running north and south.
We have a marker on it. All right. They'll re-kick the ball after the offside penalty. It did run time off the clock, however. 4:29 left in the game. Of course, as soon as the ball was touched by the return team, the clock began to run.
Opting to take this re-kick, Gary, because I think they just want to see if they can get a better shot at getting better field position.
Yep, and you never know. Maybe you break one, and the game gets a little bit different here coming down the stretch.
Yeah, they'd like to definitely be on the other side of the 50-yard line. That would be a great way to start this drive for Del State.
See if they're able to get some field position out of this one. Hornets do not have a kickoff return for a touchdown this season. Ball taken at the 15-yard line, dropped, brought back up, and now the timing goes off on the return, and here comes that marker in from way back in the end zone as they bring it out to the 30-yard line.
This might end up working against Delaware State.
Yeah, they're going to come out with worse field position after the re-kick because of the penalty. Don't forget Monday night here on HSRN, on hsrn.com and the HSRN mobile app. We have basketball, men's basketball from right across here at Memorial Hall as the Hornets host Long Island, Brooklyn. Now Delaware State starting from deep in their own territory at their own 13-yard line. They'll run the ball. Thomas Bertrand Hudon, who is over 100 yards here today, fighting for yardage, out to the 18-yard line. And he really had to fight for that yardage, and he just works over those tacklers. That was a linebacker who came up to make the hit, and he paid for it. 6 yards on the carry, 2nd down and 6. The snap, fumbled in the backfield. Bethea has to go back and pick it up. And I say fumbled in the backfield. It really was a bad snap. It was low, and Bethea has lost the fumble, and Norfolk State will recover it at the Delaware State 10-yard line.
Started with a bad snap, and then, Bethea tried to pick that ball up, and you talked about it earlier. A lot of times it's just better to fall on the ball than to try to pick it up, because that's what generally happens.
Yeah, you try to pick it up, somebody's there, hits you as you're picking it up. You don't have a good handle on it, and it gets away. So now with 3:45 left, it is 1st down for Norfolk State at the 7-yard line of Delaware State, and a chance to put some more points up on the board here.
Which is going to make it look like the defense, again, didn't play well today, but they played extremely well.
Yeah, and didn't give up quite as many points as you would think. One of those, again, was a pick 6 for Norfolk State. So they run it through the middle up to the 1-yard line. Now, last week, that defense only gave up 1 touchdown in that 13 points scored by Bethune-Cookman. 6 of those points came on a pick 6. Today, 6 of the points have come on a pick 6. So the defense has been responsible for 27 of the points. They'll run, fake the handoff, give to the quarterback. He dives ahead, and he's stopped outside of the end zone. Carter pulled down inside the 1. It is now 3rd down. Carter has done everything that Norfolk State expected of him to do today.
It's started goal at the 1.
And he just might try to keep this one himself out the shotgun. Just read that in and see if he can just tuck it in.
As receivers split out, 2 on the left, 1 on the right. Hornets look like they're going to try to blitz here. Stack it up in the middle. Carter eludes 1 tackler in the backfield, slips a tackle at the 3-yard line, then gets wrapped up. Yeah, they had the idea he was going to run to the right side. Delaware State smelled it out and made the stop.
That's just great instinctive defense by Del State.
And now it is 4th down from the 3-yard line. Lost about 2 yards on the play. Well, they're going to say the 2. So a loss of a yard. And the Hornets defense will try to keep them out of the end zone here this afternoon.
It's 4th and goal at the 2.
I would expect Carter to roll and look for that run pass option.
Hornets have only given up 40 points once this season, and they're not going to do it right there. They held them out at the 1-yard line. Only time a team scored more than 40 on Delaware State this season was down at Florida A&M in that 52-30 loss. Now, a couple of teams had 30 points or more on Delaware State, but they didn't let them get over 40, and right there, the defense with a stop to keep Norfolk State from hitting that 40-point mark on Delaware State. And now we have a timeout with 1:29 left in the game. Norfolk State 33, Delaware State 17. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN.
The world's never gotten enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
It's Norfolk today.
Back for the final minute and 1:29 at Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware. From the end zone, they'll give it to Thomas Bertrand Hooten, and he'll carry it out to the 2-yard line, to the 3. Second down as he picks up 2 and helps out that offense just a little bit, as maybe the next play they don't start it in the end zone. Down to 1:07. Talik Bethea. No urgency for Delaware State here. They're not trying to hustle down the way they are. It'll be Hudon again running right side and gets out to the 9-yard on that carry. 3rd down and 2 for Delaware State now. Under a minute left to play here at Alumni Stadium. 35 seconds to be exact. This will likely be the final play of the football game. 2 yards to go here. They'll run it, and they'll get the first down to finish out the game, out to the 12-yard line, and more yardage statistics for Hudon. But that's going to wrap it up here because we're down to 15 seconds left on the clock. And they're not going to run another play here, even though they just picked up the first down. Way too far to go, and too many points ahead of them. The Hornets will drop this one, a 16-point deficit, as they drop this final MEAC contest of the season. And the final score is Norfolk State 33, Delaware State 17.
Tough loss for the Hornets, Gary.
Yeah, they were hoping to win this one today and go 2 in a row.
Started looking off that way, too. You know, opening play of the game, a touchdown for Delaware State University. They score again on the second drive. But from that point on, they struggled. And, again, the offense just has to find some continuity. They got to find that chemistry. When they got one more game left, they got an opportunity to get another victory. And, again, it's here at home. And they got to go back to the drawing board.
All right, we're going to wrap it up here on TV. We'll stay along on the radio, though. For Mike Walker, I'm Gary Lang saying so long from Dover, Delaware, where the final score is Norfolk State 33, Delaware State 17. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.